CNN anchor Don Lemon has been fired from his role co-hosting the morning show, sparking shock on social media. To make matters worse, he was reportedly given the news by his agent and not by CNN management. Even Donald Trump came out and commented on the controversy. The move came after some controversial comments Lemon made on air about Republican Nikki Haley, which were widely condemned as sexist. Hey, I'm Kat. Welcome back to Rumor Has It. Yep, you heard that right. Don Lemon found himself in hot water earlier this year after some statements he made about Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley, a former governor of South Carolina and ex-UN ambassador. "I am stunned" were the only 3 words Lemon managed to write on Twitter, saying he was just informed by his agent he had been let go by the station. CNN chose their words carefully, saying they simply parted ways with Lemon, who was the co-host of their morning show, also saying we wish him well. His firing came after some controversial on-air remarks by Lemon in which he said Republican Nikki Haley, 51, was not in her prime. This came close to another major US media departure. Literally moments before Lemon's announcement, Fox News dropped the bomb that it was also parting ways with one of their TV personalities, primetime host Tucker Carlson. A longtime part of the network, Lemon's most recent gig was being a co-host of CNN's This Morning program. The show will go on with Lemon's ex-co-hosts, Caitlin Collins and Poppy Harlow, the network said. They actually opened their recent morning segment with some comments on Lemon's exit. Collins remarked that Don was an integral part of the show for the last 6 months, and he also happens to be one of the first anchors on CNN to feature her on their show, which is something she'll never forget. Harlow gave her own 2 cents too, and called Don one of her first actual friends made at CNN. Regardless of him being fired, she said she was grateful that she got to work next to him and have his support for almost 15 years, and only wishes him well in whatever he does moving forward. According to Lemon, Miss Haley was not in her prime. He made this statement in February, a remark widely slammed as sexist. It didn't get any better when he continued his thought out loud, saying, when a woman is considered to be in her prime, in her 20s, 30s, and maybe her 40s. He didn't think twice either, claiming that whatever he was saying is factual and you can look it up and see for yourself, when his female co-hosts, Harlow and Collins, challenged his viewpoint. And so, of course, this sparked an outcry, and Don was forced to issue a statement on the same day saying he was sorry and filled with regret over his inartful and irrelevant comments. He also had to apologize to the newsroom and consented to join mandatory training to address the incident. But the remarks led to widespread criticism, including from legendary actress Michelle Yeoh, 60, who seemed to make reference to Lemon's comments in her Oscars acceptance speech, telling all women not to let anyone tell them they're ever past their prime. Well, if anyone's qualified to make such a statement, it's her, having won an Oscar well past her supposed prime. In a tweet, Miss Haley, the target of Lemon's comments, seemed to address the firing, calling it a great day for women everywhere, and also putting it up with the hashtag #StillInMyPrime. Lemon's reputation was further wounded by a report from Variety earlier in April, which gave details of accusations of misogynistic behavior from him aimed at his CNN colleagues. He called a producer fat, and to her face of all things, as per reports by Variety. He mocked and imitated one colleague and allegedly sent threatening texts to another. A representative for Lemon came out and denied the reports. This isn't the first time Lemon is facing controversy. He made the headlines last autumn for saying that the US men's soccer team deserves to be paid more than the women's. Why? Apparently he feels that the men were more interesting to watch. The 57-year-old had made his regular appearance on CNN on Monday during the morning program, before reports of his firing became public later the same day. Lemon wrote on Twitter that this isn't how he'd ever expected to get fired. He did give 17 years of his life to CNN, and the decent way to do it would be having someone in management tell him about it to his face. He revealed that it came out of nowhere. There was not one instance where he was given any indication that he wouldn't be able to keep doing what he loved at the network. He went on to say that it's obvious there are bigger problems at play here. Could he be referring to some politics behind the camera? The network chose not to elaborate on the grounds of his dismissal, but we're pretty sure it had something to do with those comments. But then a second statement was issued, calling Lemon's description of events inaccurate, saying he'd been given a chance to meet with management before being sacked. Lemon has hired entertainment lawyer Brian Friedman to manage his contract with CNN, which was actually signed to last until 2026, as per reports by the New York Times, citing sources who already knew about the deal. Lemon arrived at CNN in 2006, after working for a local NBC station in Chicago. For more than 8 years, he was the host of the primetime show Don Lemon Tonight. He left the slot so he could team up and launch CNN's This Morning last November, next to Miss Harlow and Miss Collins. After his comments went viral, CNN producers found that guests didn't want to come on the show with Lemon, as per the New York Times. The show has been having trouble with ratings in recent months, falling behind MSNBC's Morning Joe and Fox's Fox and Friends. Even ex-President Donald Trump referred to Lemon as the dumbest man on television in a post made on his social media site, Truth Social, but he stayed silent about Tucker Carlson's firing. It's not just his career that's taken a hit. Lemon's axing from CNN has also led to fights between him and his fiancée, Tim Malone, who repeatedly warned Don to tone down his statements on air before he was fired. In an exclusive Daily Mail interview, a friend of Tim, 39, said that the scandal has made things a bit rocky for the couple, especially as Lemon was warned multiple times by his fiancée to cool down his unchecked on-air rants. Even though there's been some tension between the two as a result of the drama, the insider also revealed that Tim is standing by ex-CNN anchor and knows that his partner is not misogynistic. The source went on to say that Tim believes Don just has a really sarcastic and harsh sense of humor. We're not sure if we'd call his statements either of those things, but okay. In fact, once the couple got over the shock of Don's sacking, they started to get excited about the prospect of getting to spend more time together, the insider shared. The insider gave even more tea and stated that Tim says that Don was not happy there for a while and that he was overworked, so he'll definitely welcome this firing as a much-needed break. He's got plenty of time to relax and do other things now, and in case you were wondering, these two are financially set, despite Don's firing from CNN. According to Page 6, Don walks away from the network with a cool $25 million payout. But get this, a source close to Tim has revealed that the millions Don received aren't even a concern for them. Tim has been making a fortune through his ventures in the real estate industry for years now, so these two are basically swimming in dough. As we mentioned, Don's contract with CNN goes all the way until 2026, so they'll keep receiving those payments regardless. Honestly, good for them. They must be content not having to worry about money like everyone else does in this economy. And who knows, maybe Don will use his free time to take on new things, or maybe even just go on a nice long vacation. If what he says is to be believed, he's going to spend this summer on the beach, chilling with family. Lemon doesn't seem too badly affected by all this. Just 2 days after being fired, the two made an appearance at the Time 100 Most Influential People Gala, dressed to kill. Also, in a red carpet interview with Extra, Don said that he's got zero regrets and wouldn't change a thing in the past. So, what do you think? Did Don deserve to be fired over his comments? Comment below, we love reading your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in another video.